Hi guys, Tom Hunt here in the kit room, and in this episode I want to run through basically my favourite kind of Westin lures. I've been with Westin for just over a year now. I've fully tested pretty much all of their range, and it's a question I get asked a lot: which are your favourite crankbaits, which are your favourite soft baits? So I thought I'd put a little video together, and this will also double up nicely because my good mate Charlie Capolo, he runs a company called Hook Me Up lure boxes. So each month you either subscribe or you can get one-offs, but if you subscribe every month he sends through a box full of variety of different lures from all different brands, and you never quite know what you're going to get. Makes it kind of interesting and exciting. He's selecting different things at different times a year, so you know, it could be spinners, soft baits, hard baits, you don't really know, but he kind of tailors it to the months. And this month, I'm quite proud, he invited me to do the first ever of his signature series. So I put together sort of an exclusive box of all of my favourite Westin lures, and I thought I'd probably just go through, make a video and explain why I've selected them and how best to fish them. So I hope you can get something from this. So to start with, we've got, let's start with an absolute classic. So I couldn't start without putting this one on there. It's the 9cm Shad Tease, regular Shad Tease. Shad Tease comes in two different versions. Comes in the regular, which has got a deeper body, and it comes in a slimmer version as well, slightly smaller paddle tail. But the 9cm in headlight, which is this beautiful kind of like, got slightly green back, lovely silver body and a yellow head, just a proven catcher. I could not put a box together without this one being number one. All right, probably caught more big perch across the whole of Europe than any other lure that's on the market. So yeah, 9cm Shad Tease in headlight, it's just absolutely banging. The Shad Tease runs from tiny 7cm, so one size smaller than this, then it goes up to the 12, which I put in as well in a different colour. I'll come on to that in a sec, and then up to the 16 and the 19. But the 12 and the 16 is really sort of 12 for Zander and competition pike fishing, where I'm just looking to get a bite. 16 and 19 for my bigger pike fishing, but the 9 and 7 to a certain degree, but the 9 is just absolutely perfect for big perch. All right, so that had to go in there. On the theme of perch fishing, I also put in this little beaut, which is the Buzzbite 5cm in bling perch. So he's got a beautiful orange belly, lovely stripes, little bit of see-through to him, very, very natural. And I selected the 5cm because it's the middle of the range. There's also a smaller one, which is the 4cm, which is pretty cool. Use that a lot on canals and small rivers and small still waters. Very good. That one runs to about 3 to 4 foot. This one runs to about somewhere between 4 and 6 foot, which I think is a good all-round kind of you know, one to choose. And then the 6cm, there it is, an official roach. That one goes down to about 10 and a half feet. All right, so that's the selection, but I went for the 5cm in bling perch. The reason I went for bling perch is because I've noticed over the last few years, whether it's cormorants, whether it's predator activity, I've really noticed numbers of silverfish dwindling, and the huge shoals that we tend to see on the lakes and the reservoirs of bait fish are actually typically small perch and also sometimes small zander, but I'll come on to that in a second as well. So anything that's going to match the hatch, those pike, big zander and big perch are going to feed on those small bait fish as well. So yeah, I felt that was a really good one to go for. The next one I've got, which is more of, this is what I class as my competition pike bait. Now, last month, managed to win back-to-back 2 amazing lure competitions, and then the previous month I won 2 back-to-back as well. But I won the LAS Pike Cup, and me and my partner Kev Cox, we won the full Monty as well, which is the Lithuanian Anglers Club, which was on Rutland, 3 pike, 3 perch, 3 zander, and the most important fish we caught that day were 2 pike. We've both had one over 1 metre long, and I won this one with a 109cm, 25-pound beast. You want to know what I caught him on? This chap. the 12 centimeter Shad Tease. Now I'd class this as my competition lure, pike lure. Is when I'm looking for anything, I'm just trying to get a bite, anything from £2 to way over £20. This has got pedigree, all right? And this is called sparkling green. So again, when the water's clear, which it is at the moment, anything that's got, Zander has got a little bit of a greeny back to them. Perch have certainly got a bit of green in them as well. Roach, even to a certain degree, have got a little sort of greeny blue shimmer on their back. This lure is just absolutely fantastic. I don't fish it when the water's cloudy, but when the water's clear, and especially if you've got a little bit of mixed sort of light or there's a little bit of sunshine coming through, that flake works really, really well. Draws the fish up, and I can tell you from experience, that is a competition winner. So that's going to go in there. What else have we got? Right, on the same theme, the Zander Tease. So that is the 8.5 centimeter Zander Tease in Zander. All right, so it's got a little bit of pale color to it with a few pale stripes. Like I said, where you get clouds and clouds, the Zander are spawning so well in the Midlands reservoirs, places like the Trent, Gloucester Canal, Grand Union Canal, Coventry Canal, all of those places. They're managing to do really, really well. They're breeding a lot, basically. And when they're in this tiny sort of size, they are the perfect snack for big perch, Zander, pike, absolutely anything eats these. So I couldn't go without putting one of those in as well. Right, moving on to, I wanted to put a bit of a selection in there. So we've got crankbaits. I've got, I'd fished it like the Shad Tease on a jig head traditionally. And this is going to be my drop shot lure. It's the Westin Blood Tease in this colour, which is called Bloodworm, and it's just brilliant. It's just got a really nice vibrant red colour to it. Looks really natural. Yeah, in fact, I'll get one out because the detail on these are so amazing. You can pretty much only really sort of fish them on a drop shot. You probably could fish them on a Carolina rig if you were going to use a small hook. But let me just get one of these out for you and show you up close. 5.5 centimeter. They do come in two sizes. There's a bigger size than this as well. But I want you to try and see if you can see that. You can actually see the little sort of tentacles on there that a real bloodworm's got. And it's articulated. So you get really, really good movement. Now, I don't know if you can see this as well. If I hold it that way, he's got like a little bit of a face like that. And if I turn it, it's a bit flatter. Now, a tip that Luke Coppens, legendary in the Westin family, he gave me was don't just put one on when you're fishing a drop shot, put two on. But there's also a special way to rig them because I've played around with this quite a lot. If you get the Blood Tease like this, rather than that, so you get it like that, if you've got your hook like this, you want to hook it on. So I'll do it the other way around. If the hook's like that, you want to hook it on one and then the same on the other one. And what that does is as you pull it through the water, they actually sort of concertina like this through the water. It looks absolutely amazing. If you put them on both flat, it doesn't quite work the same, and it tends to work better a little bit up and down like that. But yeah, if you put them on flat ways, that's a top tip. And again, in a competition, I only managed, fishing was super hard. I only managed 2 bites all day, and I've had a perch of 3 and a bit pounds. It was the only fish I had all day. I missed one other bite, and it was on the Blood Tease. I put 2 of them on. It's the type of bait when the water's super cold, or if it's the fishing really, really hard, and you might think about it like this. You might only have, of all the perch in the lake, you might only have 5% of them that are willing to bite. And of those 5%, they ain't going to be chasing a bait. You know, all the other ones are what I call offline, and you might get the odd one that's just willing if you present it just slow enough and it's just natural enough of a natural bait that looks supernatural like the Blood Tease. Slow enough on a drop shot, suspended, there's no weight on it, so it's not sinking and coming up really quickly, just floating and fluttering and flopping it about, and eventually you'll just get these tiny bites. And yeah, that's the absolute #1 best way to get yourself a bite if you're struggling. So that's the Blood Tease. I've also got a couple of baits here that I would ordinarily fish well, the creek craw, you can fish a mixture. You can fish it on a jig head, but I do like fishing it on an offset hook on a Carolina rig. Again, you're not going to get huge amounts of bite on the creek craw. So there it is. That's the 8.5 centimeter version. It's got a dark back. This is the color that I selected for the box as well, and a chartreuse belly. Really good when the water clarity's got quite a bit of color in it. A little bit of green just shows up, and he's got two arms that kind of flap around. This will select the bigger fish. Don't expect lots and lots of bites. You're not going to get loads of bites on it. But when you do get one, I suspect it's going to be a better one, all right? And again, rigged on an offset hook. You want to go somewhere between a 2.0 to maybe a 4.2 or a 3.0 is absolutely perfect. And I normally fish that like that, about sort of 50 to 60 centimeters. And then I'll have my sort of nose comb weight, normally between at the lightest 2 or 3 grams. Most of the time I'm probably fishing 7 on a lake or reservoir, 7 or 10 if I'm not fishing super deep. But yeah, the creek craw, absolute killer, came out this year, so it's a brand new one for us. One that's been out for a while and is my go-to when it's very, very difficult and you definitely want to fish this on a Carolina rig, is the ring tease curl tail, and I've selected it in sangria. It's a very interesting bait. The classic way to fish this, you want to slightly overweight. So if I would normally select, say, 7 grams, I'm going to move up to 10 grams because I do not want that bait coming off the bottom. It's the type of bait that I select when the water's very cold, similar to the blood tease on a drop shot. If I knew I had a super hard day, I would probably flip between a Carolina rig with this on. Yeah, that again, natural kind of red color, I think just works really well when it's difficult, or a drop shot with the blood tease. I'd probably flip between those two most of the day. Fish him on a, like I said, size 2 or size 2.0 or 3.0 offset hook, about 50 centimeters. And again, just you almost want to be dragging the weight along the bottom, and he sends off some really nice subtle vibrations, and there's not too much, not a paddle tail, there's not too much vibrations kicking out. You just make a really, really easy meal, and it's halfway between, could be a little creature thing on the bottom, it could be a worm that's swimming through. I just think it looks like food, and they get quite inquisitive. Fish it nice and slow, little sweeps of the rod, catch the slack up, little sweeps of the rod. You just want to be lifting that weight just a few inches off the bottom, put it down, and then you're waiting for that tick. So don't fish your Carolina rigs fixed, fish them sliding, all right? You're always, the Americans call it pegged or unpegged, and you want to fish unpegged because you don't want the weight, don't want them to feel the resistance of the weight. You want that gentle bite to come through the weight, straight direct to the rod tip. So always fish braid, always fish unpegged, and always concentrate, because you're likely to get the bite. You pull the weight through and it obviously lifts it slightly off the bottom, drags it along. That curly tail is going to work, and it will suspend for a second before slowly sinking. Now if you've got 2 or 3 feet on there, there's a chance that he's going to touch that bait before you even feel anything up there. So you have to be super concentrating when you're on this method. All right, you're not going to get rod wrenches for bites, but you'll get those tiny little ticks, or when you go to move the lure again, you'll just feel him start to be on. So little strike once that's happened, and hopefully you've exposed the hook. Good, I think that's pretty much it. There's a few other selections in there that I won't go on about, a few different colors, some singles as well. But yeah, that would be my absolute confidence setup for perch, pike, competition pike, zander. There's a bit of a mixture in there. So yeah, that's my go-to Westin lures. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've picked up a few tips. And until next time, I'll see you on the next one.